Hello and welcome back to Rock of Ages Explained. Because information from one of these characters is scarce, we're combining two characters this time. So let's begin with number 2. Chronos and Agamemnon. As I said, there isn't that much information on Chronos in Greek mythology. This is also due to the fact that he's often confused with the Titan Chronos, who is the father of Zeus. Hence, this version of Chronos wields a scythe. Chronos is the personification of time, and because of this confusion with the Titan Chronos, he became the precursor for the concept of Father Time. This is also why he's the one you fight when you go through the time portal. The Chronos that shows up in the game is one of the primordial deities in Greek mythology and actually predates the creation of the universe. In some versions, he is portrayed as the creator of Thanos, who in turn gave birth to the original gods. Agamemnon's family history is tarnished, to say the least. I'm not going into too much detail because some of it is kinda creepy, but know that it's a tale of incest, rape, and murder. Not exactly bedtime reading. This meant that his family was ultimately cursed to misfortune by the gods, a curse that would not be lifted till his son Atreus lifted it in court with the gods years later. Agamemnon was the king of Mycenae, thought to be another name for the area of Argus. When Paris, the prince of Troy, kidnapped the beautiful Helen from his friend and ally Menelaus, Agamemnon was the one to gather the Greek forces and go to war against Troy, and therefore served as the commander-in-chief for the Greek forces throughout. On his way to Troy, Agamemnon killed an animal dearly beloved to the goddess Artemis, proclaiming himself her equal in hunting. In anger over his boasting, Artemis removed the wind from his sails and sent a plague upon his men. When consulting the prophet Calchas, he was told that her anger could only be sated by the sacrifice of his daughter Iphigenia, who was otherwise meant to marry the great hero Achilles. There's a number of different versions as to how this debacle ended. Most of them claim that Agamemnon eventually did sacrifice his daughter, but the poet Hesiod instead claimed Artemis accepted the sacrifice of a deer in his stead, and whisked Iphigenia away to ascend to godhood as the goddess Hecate in the Crimean Peninsula on the island of Taurus. During the Trojan Wars, Agamemnon was considered the symbol of kingly authority on the battlefield, and though not as skilled as the hero Achilles, he led the Greek armies into battle and fought endlessly until he was injured and had to be taken to his tent. When the battle against Troy was over, he took the prophetess Cassandra as his prize and started his voyage home. However, when he came home, he found that his wife Clytemnestra had found a lover in the prince of a nearby land named Aegisthus. In some versions of the tale, Agamemnon was murdered by Aegisthus in revenge for his father's deeds. However, in another version, Clytemnestra waited till he took a bath, and then murdered him in a fit of rage over the sacrifice of Iphigenia, and then murdered Cassandra in jealousy over her companionship with Agamemnon. Agamemnon was eventually avenged by his son Atreus, who murdered both Clytemnestra and Aegisthus. However, due to having murdered his own mother, he was tracked down and turned insane by beings known as the Erinyes. Greek mythology unfortunately tends to be kinda bleak like that.